hype TVP we can probably get from the region because Azure, I've always said the best TVP player from Australia. Pezz recently, in the past couple of weeks, has really established himself as, I would say, the best PvT player from Australia. A lot of practice came in, so it does. So to me, it makes a lot of sense why that last game maybe took as long as it did. So I imagine it was very, very close. But we have no more need to imagine anymore. All the people. That's not from the 2000s. Never mind. Because we are now kicking things off, or continuing things off. Well, our players are continuing things off. We are kicking things off on 2000 Atmospheres LE. We're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the blue Terran player. He to be coming down from the land of Brisbane. He is one of the Brisbane boys, the only Terran player in that iconic group. Representing Team Opus V, he is Azure.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Australian Protoss. He is purple, representing Team Might Freaks, already up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. It is Pezz.
That's an... Okay, never mind. That's an eBay block. I got excited for a second. I was like, oh, he's going so far.
He's going for an eBay first. It's happening.
Well, I mean, if he lets it complete, he doesn't let it complete. Very nice micro from Pezz, and also from Azure, just keeping that SCV alive for as long as he did, and it's super crucial. So
that
he'll be able
is.
to continue scouting.
Yeah, continue scouting if he wants. He could even try and dive back on top of that eBay to get to build it a little bit more, but he does back off. He does confirm what is in the natural base, and he forces Pezz to crank out a Zealot.
Yeah, just 100 minerals that are gone. The lazy nexus was so long, and that is a factory.
Let's go.
All right.
Both gases are being taken here. We do have a proxy factory. Oh my god, Pezz, he doesn't know how deadly, how dangerous that SCV was after it left.
Should not have kept it alive. You took a half measure here, Pezz.
Exactly. I mean, he's sending the Zealot across the map, and this is dangerous because what this means is that the Zealot will not be at home to defend, and we'll see what the hell is going to happen with this factory, and if he stops here or if he proxies the starport as well.
Tech lab, tech lab, tech lab, tech lab. Hellion, okay.
Starport, there we go. Proxy 1-1. Or...
Might...
Yeah?
Might as well. I feel like in the marine position here from Azure. This is quite a bit of a tell for Pezz. He knows that without the Reaper or anything, it's going to be something a little more aggressive coming out from Azure. But at the very least, Azure is able to prevent Pezz from really getting into that main base and confirming.
Exactly. Nice micro there, taking out that initial Zealots, but this Stalker is still dealing a lot of damage. He didn't get to see anything though. He didn't get to get into that main base. Sure, he does stem the tide of Marines, but Hellions are pumping out, and here comes the medevac for that Hellion drop.
If you're Pezz right now, you have no idea what's coming your way.
I mean,
be as safe as possible.
Yeah, and there's nothing at home to defend. Like, there's a sentry, and that is it. Warp Gate's about to finish up soon, but I think this is going to hit before that.
Oh, it definitely will. I was going to say the SimCity looks pretty good, but then I realized that's just acting as a funnel.
Yeah.
Those probes are going to bunch up, aren't they?
That they are. Here we go. The Hellions are coming in. Pezz still doesn't see it. He still doesn't know. Now he knows, and now it is a little bit too late.
Drop. Okay, he does get a pylon block right at the last second, but look at how lined up they are! This is game-ending damage. Not enough anti-air to take out the medevac, and lighting up again!
That they
Body
are.
block with these two probes, but I tell you what, those are the two dead probes. 13 down in total.
And the Hellions, they just drive away.
Yeah.
The cars just drive out of there. They didn't even care. 13 probes go down, mate. That's insane.
Mate.
He's going back in. He's not stopping.
That he is no vision at this location once again. This is the last thing Pezz suspects. And it's going in.
There's nothing
completely
here.
blocking the exit. Dude, there's no way of escape.
There's no way out. Here comes another Stalker, but how many more? What's 12, 11?
He's fighting with his probes now. He is super desperate. 50, was that 15 more probes? Or yeah, no, it was 50 more probes. 28 probes in total have gone down this game. That's got to be it, right?
Mate, you need to look at this build.
I really do.
People in the chat, if you want this build, of course you can subscribe. You will gain access to the replay pack of this tournament, and my god, from here Azure even gets a Liberator and a tank. He proxied a tank with this.
That's sieged up, because why the hell not?
Oh my god.
He's revealing his hand maybe a little too early, but Azure is still caught on siege a little bit. The Liberator will go down, but the Marines and the tanks, the more backbone of this army, does still live.
That it does. Here we go. Azure is pushing on forward. He does have 2 tanks, but there are a lot of Stalkers here, so he has to be careful. These Stalkers could try and focus down the tanks. Oh.
He really could. I like that Azure isn't sieging up here. A lot of people tend to underestimate the amount of damage an unsieged tank. An unsieged tank really has against mechanical units like Stalkers.
Oh yeah, definitely. And now he's siege up, he fortifies this position, he's just rallying more and more units across the map. Another tank, another Liberator is about to pop out.
Leapfrogging wherever possible. These Zealots are the real MVP here for Pezz, but the Stalker count has dwindled.
Only 3 Stalkers remaining, and the Liberator is now out, so he still has the backbone to his army. Another tank is about to pop out, but what's important is that at least Pezz, as he loses his Observer, he does have an Immortal.
That he does.
Oh, the tank!
The anti-tank unit. Oh, such a good juggle right towards the end there. Immortals, unfortunately, not going to do too much against Liberators, but that's why you have Stalkers.
Exactly. Stalkers for the Lib, Immortal for the tank, and it looks like Azure, he's satisfied with the damage he dealt. A lesser Protoss player would have died to this aggression, but he's backing off and he is expanding at home.
And look at that, Pezz is almost caught up with the worker count.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that goes to show like how dedicated Azure was with his attack. He himself has to work on his own worker count, but it looks like a lot of his production will be able to make it home.
Yeah, at least his factory will, but be a little late for the starport. Well, it's definitely gonna be late.
Boost!
Boost! Puppy! Oh no! Second too late. The starport should be able to live as well. Burn, though.
It's getting close. We'll see if Azure tries to save the starport with his army. He could try and move out across the map. There's not that much here, to be honest, and there's no way to reinforce, so Azure is thinking about it.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, but can't quite save it in the end. And honestly, Azure still has a very potent army. Is that concussive shells? I think it is. Tim is about to finish up, and there's really not a whole lot Pezz can do. There we have it. GG. Azure takes us to the ace match.
GG.
This is what I wanted.
Mate, that was a beautiful build by Azure, mate. That was... Oh.
Absolutely was.
And what I think what I love about this, I mean, we'll see what happens here, but I don't know how I feel about this, because I feel like Azure, like that's a great build to throw against Probe. Azure versus Probe is this weekend, by the way. You gotta be careful with what you show here, buddy. Yeah, that's the thing. You want to be careful, mate. You want to be careful.
Or it might work anyway because it's a strong enough build.
Oh, it's definitely possible.
Just hoping anyway. Was it about 25 hours-ish from now? 24 hours, 26 hours-ish from now is when the third day of the ANZ Champs playoff brackets begins.
Yes. Tomorrow is going to be 3 best-of-5s. It is going to be 3 of the lower bracket matches. It is going to be, if I recall, Crimson versus Mighty Kiwi, Azure versus Probe, and the winner of both those series up against each other.
There we have it.
And to be
it's
fair,
another week till
yeah.
the next ANZ champs.
And to be fair, this is some nice like tournament practice for Azure in this matchup, and he will be able to refine some of these builds later tonight. But again, as you said, he has just over 24 hours, so has to be careful with what he does reveal.
He really does. 24 hours is honestly enough time for somebody like Probe to formulate a counter, even if he's unable to practice it. But regardless, we are going to be concluding this best of 3 lower bracket match semifinals. Yeah, semifinals makes sense. Here on Lightshade LE, we're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the blue Terran player coming down from the land of Brisbane. He is the only Terran in Brisbane. He is going to be representing Team Opus V, Azure.
I may have pressed the wrong button. Hold on. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Australian Protoss player. He is purple, representing Team Mindfreak. It is Pezz.
I was really anticipating a proxy coming out from Azure this time too. That looks to be a pretty standard SCV scout.
Yeah, pretty standard so far. Unfortunately, we didn't get to cast game number 1, so I'm not too sure what really happened there in that first game, but obviously Pezz was able to take it. Now we're here in the ace match. I do think that Pezz, he wants to get into at least the mid game. Like, that's where he really thrives in this matchup. He just needs to survive long enough to get there.
That he does, which is something that Azure is definitely more than aware of. He's going to try to at least cripple him before that can happen. Like in that game number 2 we saw.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful, mate. Like, oh my god, I'm really tempted to share that to Neo as well, you know? Like, yo, I got something for you, buddy. I got something.
I got the hookup. You want proxy builds? I have proxy builds.
Meanwhile,
You need macro? I have macro.
I don't have macro. I don't. But I have proxy builds.
She swears.
Oh god. Meanwhile, the Reaper did try to get into the main base, but it was denied by the Adepts, so Azure, he hasn't really seen too much here. It is, of course, a Twilight Council opening, but he is unaware whether it is a Twilight Council or, say, a Stargate.
Yeah, very standard for both of our players so in this game. That's the big question is, what is Pezz going to get from his Twilight Council? Is it just going to be that fairly standard Blink opening, or are we going to see something a little bit more out there, like, say, a High Templar rush? No, not from Pezz.
Yeah.
Maybe, but...
Like, as you say, High Templar, I mean, maybe DTs. If it was Starduck, DTs would 100% be out here.
Definitely DTs, yeah.
But for now, it is a little bit more standard. You know, Blink is on the way for Pezz.
Yeah, a little bit of that calm before the storm in the TVP matchup, before everything really pops off, before Azure gets across the map with his mines, before Pezz decides to be a little bit cheeky with his Blink.
Exactly. And we do see that it looks like Azure, he's setting himself up for a little bit of a mine drop. Matter of fact, he's on the way, but he's not committing. He's not pulling a run amok. He's not over committing to the Widow Mines. It is just a little bit of an opener here that he's looking to transition out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's the armory? And then I remembered who we were casting.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Oh no, that's Spidey. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I see it everywhere now, lad. I see it where it's not there. I want to see the armory.
The armory. I see it too, but for different reasons. It's more PTSD for me, mate. God. But here we go. Medevac does rush out across the map so far unscouted, headed towards the main base. There are stalkers here. Blink is about to finish up in a couple of seconds. Looks like maybe just barely in time for this. Oh, 5, 4,
Wait,
3,
that's
2,
a very juicy middle line. Pezz does catch this right at the last minute. And this is why we want to have an armory.
Yeah, exactly. And with this, only one probe went down. A stalker went down as well, to be fair, but at the cost of 2 medevacs. Sorry, 2 widow mines and a medevac, and he didn't even get into the main.
That he did not. He does see the robo facility at the very least, so it does give him a bit of an indication of how Pezz wants to play this out. A little bit more gateway focused. Eventually, could get a robo bay, or just focus on Warp Prism and warping in a ton more gateway units.
Definitely. Meanwhile, Azure, he's setting up at home. Unfortunately, his tanks aren't siege, so he doesn't have the best defensive position here. So a couple of Marines are going to be shaved off, but not too. Oh my god. Pezz, calm down.
At the very least, he's able to make it out there.
Yeah. Thank God. And behind this, he is transitioning into Charged Out Archon.
Much more potent unit composition, at least against Bio. Blink Stalkers can do a lot, but when you throw in some Marauders, some concussive shells, a tank line, you're really going to be bleeding out a lot more than you're really going to be taking a lot more damage than you deal.
Exactly. I mean, you definitely can go for a more blink heavy stalker composition. Like, it's definitely possible, but it looks like that isn't necessarily what Pezz wants out of this game. Ooh, so far, nice blink stalker micro.
Yeah, keeping majority of them alive. One of them is at like 2 health.
Oh yeah, there was some
1 health.
1 HP. Didn't lose any of his stalkers there. Like, that was some very, very crisp micro. But now Azure has had enough. He's pushing out across the map. He does not have a third CC behind this, by the way.
That he does not. He is going all the way.
And he gets spotted.
Attack really good. He does.
Yeah, the observer sees everything. Oh boy. And now what is the response here for Pezz? He does warp in a couple of High Templar. He does have a shield battery at the third. A cannon at the natural. He's looking to try and meet you.
Ooh, that's a very good snipe on one of the High Templar. Almost gets another one, but that was a decent storm. Takes out a pretty good chunk of the bio.
If you saw with the first High Templar, he actually mistimed it. He dropped the High Templar, and Storm was 1 second away from finishing, so nothing happened, and he just lost the High Templar.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Azure's having none of this. He is completely all in. Ooh, bit of a whiff storm there, not getting too much of the bio. There's one more remaining, I believe, for Pezz, but he just storms the SCVs. That is exactly what Azure wanted.
It really
doesn't have his SCV buffer anymore, but
that's the problem. Like,
alive.
That was so juicy on the SCVs. Every single SCV has gone down, but you know what? Here come the Widow Mines. They are recharging their shots. He's pushing on forward. He's looking to end the game.
And there ain't any AoE available right now for Pezz. The mines connect with every single one of the zealots, and that battery overcharge is really working overtime here. A couple of bunkers getting thrown down just to add a little bit more beef. This wave of zealots might be able to do a lot. Apparently not.
Oh god, he did try, and he was able to pick off a tank. There's only one tank remaining, so Pezz was able to accomplish a little bit with that. Meanwhile, all the Immortals are still exposed, but he doesn't get picked off.
They're exposed, so let's not get picked off. The tank was still exposed there. That Immortal does go down. Pezz being very careful not to lose that High Templar. He only has one shot. He's only got one storm.
Yeah, only one, mate. That's all he has. Meanwhile, some nice micro there by Azure. He keeps lifting up his Widow Mines. He doesn't want friendly fire. Now they're gonna go off. The move command.
That's a little bit of friendly fire. A lot of Marauders still alive. Not a ton of Marines, so such a juicy storm. That's basically all the bio taken out.
Yeah, basically, mate, there's barely anything left here for Azure, and again, Azure, he's down so many workers. He needs to try and cripple one of these bases and end the game, but he just can't get to the mineral lines.
He really cannot. The medevacs are so out of energy. Every stim hurts more and more. That was a ton of friendly fire, and Pezz, I think he's done it.
It looks like he has. He cleans up everything on the ground. There are only 3 medevacs and a couple of reinforcements remaining. Pezz holds, and now Azure, he's down over 40 workers. If he needs to, I guess he could lift up his main and take it as a third. He can try and like do some crisis management, but like that, he was all in, mate.
All in and with nowhere to go.
Yeah, like he still is all in, you know? Like he's you can't macro up from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even with mules. Pezz is really starting to catch back up with the army supply, and you gotta remember for Azure, a lot of his army supply are in these 3 medevacs.
Exactly. I want to give props to Azure. Like he almost made that work, right? Like he was trading so well. He was able to catch some High Templar. The Widowmine connections on the Zealots were amazing as well. He made sure there wasn't too much friendly fire, but it just barely wasn't enough to break the Protoss. Oh.
Would it make sense if I said that may have worked against somebody like Probe? Not against Pezz here.
It's possible, mate. It's possible.
Definitely would be such a good job of keeping these High Templar alive. Taking out as much as a bio as possible.
Mate, and that was the first punch, and here comes the second, mate. The 1-2, mate. Oh god, it's here.
And it is gonna hit hard. The Archons don't die. The Immortals don't die. The Liberators siege up and immediately go down. GG is called, and Pezz is gonna face Ender in that lower bracket finals. Well played indeed.
GG, well played. Azure, he put up a good fight, and honestly, there were some nice moves, especially on 2000 atmospheres, going for that aggressive like proxy, and even here in the 2-base all in. And I honestly, I feel a very similar way where, at the moment, I kind of want to say that Pezz is the stronger player between Pezz and Probe right now. Like Probe,
I would agree with you there, yeah.
Yeah, Probe is a little bit out of practice. He has been laddering this week, to be fair. He's been doing a lot of ladder streams, not as many speedrun streams. But he still needs to like get into shape, you know, because of his hiatus. Meanwhile, Pezz has been doing nothing but practice for ANZ champs, and ooh, he does take down Azure here, and he moves on to face Southeast Asian Zerg.
Ender the odd. But yeah, I'd agree with you there. For me, it's Starduck, Pezz, Probe. At the moment, anyway.
Starduck, Pezz, Probe. Whoa,
yeah, Starduck,
okay.
Pezz, Probe.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Look, I'm just saying, one of these players is in the grand finals of the Demi Australian Open. One of these players took the other one out 2-0.
You know what? You know what? That's facts, mate. That's facts.
That's facts, you know? You can't argue with math.
It's true.
Unless you're me. You'll try to anyway, but...
Oh my god, but yeah, GG, well played. That is the end of Azure's run today, and as you were saying, Pezz moves on, or as we were saying, Pezz moves on to face Ender in the PvZ, and this is terrifying, because as good as Starduck was in his series against Ender, Pezz, I think specifically in this matchup, Pezz has it figured out, but he has a different style. Pezz rarely goes for Sky Toss.